Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us this Sunday evening. My name is Senior Consultant Michelle Schaefer, and this is our Sunday evening Purge Call. Our host, if you're not familiar with him, is an executive consultant in the business. He's going to be going through the Purge Call tonight with you. We encourage everyone to make sure you have your calendars open, a pen and paper, your written list, your list of 10 for the week. This is an interactive call, and we believe this is truly the silver bullet that makes a difference in your business. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our host. If you're not familiar with him, he's an executive consultant in the business. He is a business owner himself. He has several restaurants. He is also a musician and owns a music box company. He's brought us many awesome programs like 3x4 mentorship, this Purge Call, and several other things. He is a 5-star trip earner, which means that he was selected as one of 20 people out of everyone in the entire AMBIT family, which is there's about 350,000 consultants. He was one of 20 which was chosen to go on that trip. He earned his way onto that trip. He has also just been featured on Success from Home magazine, so you can see him on the cover of Success from Home magazine with Regina Gale and several others. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my dear friend and mentor, Mr. Richard Laidler.
Hello there. Can you hear me okay? Michelle, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, fantastic. Hello, you lovely chaps. How is everybody out there? You probably can tell by the sound of my voice, I'm a little bit hoarse. I've had a bit of a crazy week. Actually, I've heard a lot of people have come down with a bad cold or whatever this last week, and I happen to be one of those chaps too. So for those of you who have been calling me for three-way calls and this type of thing, I haven't been avoiding you in any way. I just know that if I'm on a three-way call, I would have been doing nothing but coughing all through it. So, but things are much more on the mend. They're just a little bit of an aftermath like right now. Every now and again, I may have a little bit of a tickle, but I'm back on track and ready for a great week. I'm preparing my week for my 2 calls a day, and that's obviously what this call is all about. So let's kind of get down to the nitty-gritty and talk about what this call is all about. I can see we've got a lot of new people on the calls, and as always, I'll just spend a few minutes just explaining what the call is all about and the purpose behind it. And I want to make sure I manage everybody's expectations. First of all, the purpose of this call is it's extremely functional in its concept. It's not about motivating you. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy sounds, my hoarse voice sounds lovely. I think she means sexy, but I think, lovely's fine. I'll take lovely. And I do actually have a nice cup of tea here. It's the best medicine in the world. Hold on. Lovely. Oh, it's a little hot, but nothing nice like a nice British cup of tea to fix you, make you feel better. Anyway, so the call is very functional in its concept. It's not about motivation. It's not about your why. All those, of course, those things are important, and there's certainly not going to be any hype about what we're talking about. It's all about giving you what you need to plan your AMBIT next week. Make sure you have your plan so you don't start your week with, I really need to do something about my AMBIT business this week. I hope I can find the time because the reality is you won't find the time necessarily, or if you do, it's because it's lucky. And we don't want to base our success on luck. We want to make sure we're intentional about it. So instead of hoping to find the time during the week, find the time today and allocate that time in your calendar. And when it's in your calendar, those things that you are already accountable to, like your job, your family, your sports team, your crochet society, whatever it happens to be, then they're not going to push this aside because it's already assigned time in the calendar. And it sounds like a really, really simple thing to do, but boy, the difference is everything. If you don't do it, you'll get to the end of your week and think, oh my gosh, I've done nothing this week. And I had many weeks like that when I first got started and didn't have the structure and discipline, and will have a week like that if I don't plan my week right. Because I'm the type of chap who gets distracted. I don't have quite the commitments I used to before I was financially free with AMBIT, but I'm still creating new things, and I'll suddenly start wandering off and think, oh my goodness me, I've not spoken to anybody this week. I've not done this. I've not done that. And to kind of really put it into context, This is what I'm talking about. I know a lot of you out there still have jobs, and you keep your AMBIT business, or if you keep doing your AMBIT business, it's going to be a matter of choice down the line. You're not going to have your jobs down the line. But at the moment, most of you will have jobs out there. But those of you who have the jobs know where you're going to be next week and at what time. 8 o'clock start work, or probably 7:30 drive to work. 8 o'clock start work. Lunch 11:30, maybe a break at 3:30 or 3 o'clock, and then leave at 5 or 5:30, whatever it is. Not really a lot of flexibility. I'm sure some of you, do have a little flexibility around it. And if you wander off those times too much, if at all, for some of you, that job won't last very long. And, I understand this is not only what you have to do to get your paycheck, but it actually, because of that discipline, obviously you get paid because you're a good boy, you're a good girl. But the main reason why you're doing this is the main reason why you're successful at your job. A lot of you will have got skills and developed skills over time, absolutely. You have good days and you have bad days, but the job gets done, and because your job gets done, and the guy in the next cubicle, or the guy in the next sales car, or the person next to you in the factory, because everybody turns up, and despite good days and bad days, they do everything they need to get done, various levels of skill, then they have success, and the company has success. It's not because everybody's standing there getting in touch with their why. I'm not saying that the why is not important. Skills help, of course. Some degree of why you're doing it helps, of course, although most people's why is that they get a paycheck at the end of the month. Sometimes staff camaraderie is good, and wanting to promote in this part is important. But what I'm saying is you must treat your AMBIT business with the same respect as your job. Even if you don't like your job, you probably respect it. You certainly respect it enough to make sure you turn up on time so you get paid. So what I'm saying, and I'm going to repeat it, you must treat your AMBIT business the same way as you treat that job, with respect, and you turn up on time, or at least until you're financially free. And I suggest you still do it after that, because after financial freedom is a millionaire jacket or a $5 million jacket. And hey, why stop? Everyone on here can do all of that. Your job sets you up in a structure to get the simple things you need to do every day done. You're successful, your neighbors in the company are successful, and your company is successful. If you look at any one person in a company, usually they're nothing spectacular. They're, doing a job, and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, but they're doing what they need to do. If people didn't turn up on time, if people took 2-hour lunches, if people went home early, they would fail in their job, and if everybody did it, the company would fail. So bottom line, it's structure. For all of the training you ever get, structure in your business is the most important thing. Give yourself the same structure in your AMBIT business as you do your job, and I guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, yes, this comes with a money-back guarantee, you'll have success in your AMBIT business if you do what you're supposed to do. And this call is all about helping you do that. This call is all about the structure for us. It is a Sunday to Sunday week. On Sunday, we take our 10 names down from our list, our top 10 names, because we've scored them using the Erica system. And if you're not sure how to do that, get to the training on October the 1st. I will be covering that in that training. I'll talk more about that in a second. But we're going to get our 10 names down. We're going to then create the invites, which we're going to do on the call today. I'm going to do it with my brand new victim today. And you please do it alongside me. Prepare your list and have your written list, your invitation. Create your invitation whilst we're doing it on the call. Do it at the same time. Then you'll start on Monday, and there's nothing more comforting than starting on Monday morning with a list of 10 names. And I know there's a bunch of alumni on the call, and I know they used to I know they're still doing it. And if they're not, then see me after school. There's nothing better than starting your AMBIT week with 10 names. You know who you're going to speak to. The invitations are already created, and you've verified them with your crossline or upline or whoever your partner is. And you've started your week. It's sitting there. It's really comforting to do that. Then you're going to do two invitations on Monday, 2 invitations on Tuesday, all the way through to Friday, 2 invitations a day and 1 accountability call a day. And again, I try to ram home how important the accountability call is. That is the fulcrum around which everything happens. With the accountability call in place, you will make the invites. If it's not in place, you might not do it. And so please make sure you have your accountability call. So everyone on this call, please make sure you have an accountability partner. If you don't have one, go do it. You can get away without one, but you're on this call and you're in an AMBIT business so you can be successful, and that's how to be successful. Just kind of, it is how it is. So 2 calls a day, Monday through Friday, 1 accountability call, and then next Sunday we go through those same 10 names. The yeses, we plug them into this call. So I do the work for you, and you're in training your new people on how to do 2 calls a day, just like you did. The maybes, we qualify them and validate them, whether they're going to be a yes or a no. And those who are no's and who end up as no's, we purge them, which is why this is called the Sunday Purge Call, is because that is the most important thing. We've done what we needed to do. We've made the invites. We've not gone crazy. We've not taken too much time away from our job or our family. We've just allocated 30 to 40 minutes a day of our invites and our accountability call. And then at the end of the week, we've got some yeses, we've got some maybes, and we've got some no's. And the no's are perfectly fine. What we're going to do is, in most cases, those no's are not yet, because for some people, the timing's just not right. We put them on the drip list, and we'll get back to them in about 3 months or so. Just one other theory behind all of this, of course, is we do, in our team and the people on this call, very often network marketing has been regarded as a numbers game. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a sip of tea. Hold on. Lovely cup of tea. They've been regarding network marketing as a numbers game. We do not do that. I truly believe that since products were taken out at 3 times the price you could buy at Walmart and replaced with a service that everybody uses where people are saving money, this isn't a numbers game anymore. This is a real simple business. The only reason why people are failing in this business is because they're not doing what I've just told you about, which is having structure in your business. So what I'm talking about and what we're doing is the reason why we're doing these 2 calls a day or 2 invites a day, 1 accountability call, is because we want to find the right 3 consultants that we're going to work with. You've seen on the business presentation, like everybody else has, 3 who get 3, down to 7 levels, just get themselves all qualified with a couple of customers each, 3 customers outside Texas, of course, and that's $11,000 in residual income. And again, as I say on the call every week, that's enough for me, and I think it's probably enough for everybody on the call, because also that's $11,000 that the work you did was at the very beginning. You're not working for it anymore. That's the definition of residual income. So we're just looking to use this system, this weekly Sunday to Sunday call, to find ourselves our 3 consultants who are going to work alongside with us, because they're also going to plug into this call, because all they need to do is find the right 3 people as well. All right, so that being said, that's the kind of the structure around what we're doing. Again, please have your calendar open, have your top 10 names there. And again, what we're doing this for is to make sure you have structure for the week, because we're going to treat our AMBIT business with the same respect as you do your job. Okay, so that being said, let's move on to tonight's call, and I'm going to bring on a brand new victim who is a little bit nervous, so please, everybody, be very nice, be very gentle, because she's very nice. I have to say I don't know this lady very well, but I've bumped into her quite a few times at the business presentations, especially up at the meeting up in McKinney with Doug Parker's business presentation up there. And every time I'm up there, we bump into each other. Sometimes we're sitting next to each other at the business or the meeting after the meeting. And I'm already in love with this girl. She's awesome and very hardworking, very dedicated. She's regional consultant in the business. She's actually in Jared Abshire's downline. Jared being a great friend of mine, fantastic trainer, fantastic mentor to many of his team. So I'd like to bring onto the call regional consultant Mary Wine. Mary, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hello, Mary. How are you, sweetheart?
Awesome. Real excited about this week.
Yes, yeah. You've got an executive consultant there as your personal coach. I'm going to be there, on your back for the week. making sure you do what you need to do. So,
Crack away.
Let me tell you, the alumni will tell you that I have a lot of fun. What your obligation to the call, if you wouldn't mind, as the victim for the week, is obviously to be on the call today. And then during the week, to do the 2 invites a day. At least you can do more than that, but certainly no less. And then to get on the accountability calls and with me in the evenings. And we'll need to set a time when you want to do that. But every one of those calls are recorded, for those of you who are listening in, and posted on the EC Riders Facebook page. So if you're not a member of the EC Riders Facebook page, just look for EC as an executive consultant, Riders, R-I-D-E-R-S, so EC space R-I-D-E-R-S. Go along there and ask to join the group, and I will say yes, as long as you're in the AMBIT business. And if you're on this call, you're on the AMBIT business. And you can listen to the accountability call that I will have recorded with Mary. And those calls are very real. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes, it's been a bad day. Sometimes it's been a good day. Sometimes someone has been so busy that they haven't managed to, make all the calls that they wanted to. And so we coach around how to deal with that. Because at the end of the day, these calls or this business is real. And I want these calls to be equally real. I don't want it to be everything's perfect, everybody says yes, everybody has a business presentation, everybody does this, and everybody joins. No, we know that's not true. And so that's where the real side of the business comes out. So make sure you have a listen on those accountability calls. They're recorded in such a way now that you can listen to them on your phone, on your computer. So I can be your driving partner on the way to work or on the way back from work or whatever. Have a listen to them. They're 10 minutes, 15 minutes, sometimes a little longer if there's a coaching opportunity. But they're a great asset for you to kind of see how to deal with very specific cases in this business. So, Mary, let's talk about you just for a little bit. I want to make sure that everybody knows just a little bit about you. Just kind of, if you're married, if you're a family, kind of an age group. I never like to ask a young lady how old she is, but just an age group and maybe what you do for a living, so we can have a feel for who you are, and it just makes what we do on this call a little bit more relevant. So, Mary, why don't you just tell me a little bit about your family life and what you do for a living and this type of thing.
Okay. So I'm single, no kids, no pets, but I am the caretaker for an aging parent who has some fairly significant needs. I'm pretty active at my church, and for my full-time job, I'm a global sourcing manager for a major corporation. And what that means for me is that I'm kind of one of the last people in the food chain when things have to happen by a certain date, no matter what. And so a lot of times my work flow is supposed to ebb and flow, but it seems to flow a little more. And so as luck would have it, this week is going to be a major flow week. So it's the perfect time to be, to really have a structure. And if I am successful through the next 2 weeks, then I know AMBIT will work for me, no matter what. And had this not already been scheduled, it might have been, in the back of your mind, you say, oh, well, I got so much going on. I'll just wait and work it hard next week. And then next week goes to the following week. So I'm real happy to be here and to get down to business.
Yeah, and you kind of hit the nail on the head there. It is so easy. I'm assuming you're full-time as a sourcing manager, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Full-time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're full-time in a job and you've got someone whose livelihood is depending on you, probably even more so than a child who can at least get themselves to school or back or whatever, but someone who's really taking, really relying on you, that's a big drain on your time. And it's so easy to go through a week and not have done one thing for your AMBIT business. And again, I'm glad you identified that, in what you're saying. And it's one thing that you're going to need to do, by the way, during this week. Do you have and by the way, good news and bad news is both welcome on this call. Don't feel bad if you're going to tell me no to something or whatever, because, again, I want to keep it real. No one's judging you. I guarantee everybody on this call has made mistakes or whatever. I certainly have made plenty of mistakes. But let me ask you this, first of all. Do you actually have an accountability partner right now?
Yeah, yes, but I don't utilize them the way that I should.
Okay, in which case that's a no. Yeah. What I mean by an accountability partner is someone you're going to talk to every day. Obviously, this week I'm going to be that person. But you said something that worried me a little bit, is that, you're going to judge, whether this business is right for you this week, over the next couple of weeks. This business is right for you, period.
Yeah, and I know that, but, I said that from the perspective of, like, these will be probably two of the hardest weeks for me in my traditional business. And so getting through that, while still doing AMBIT says that, it's kind of a no-brainer. It can work.
Absolutely. And that's going to be really good, because we can talk about how you overcome that issue of a very, very busy week at work and still get the persistent and consistent effort done during the week with your AMBIT business. So that's going to be a really good challenge. But here's the reason why I was saying what I was saying, is please do get yourself an accountability partner who's going to work with you every day after we are done. Because I do know that some of the alumni, the people who have been my victims in the past, after my week have slipped away from the 2 calls a day and an accountability call because there wasn't an accountability partner already in place. So please have one in place, and I will check with you by the end of the week that you've got one done, because you need to have one. Everyone on this call, please, if you don't have one, please get one. It's just for a 10-minute call a day, but trust me, without them, you've got an easy excuse not to make your 2 calls, and with them, you will make your 2 calls. And it's the 2 calls a day that will find you your 3 who will get qualified, and you'll teach them to do the same thing. So please, I cannot emphasize more importantly how important it is to have your accountability partner in place for after we're done, Mary, okay?
Okay.
Cool. All right, so that being said, you've obviously been on this call many times before. You've been very complimentary when we've been face-to-face at the meetings, after the meetings. It's always lovely to see you there and stuff. So you kind of know the format. And one thing I'm going to brag on you a little bit, if you don't mind. Do you mind?
No, go ahead.
When I call, for those of you who are on the call, when I asked Mary to be the victim, actually first thing this morning, to give us some time to be prepared, and she said, well, I've already got many of my invites already written out, or at least the basis of who I'm going to speak to. Now that right there is an A+ grade, because you did that without knowing I was going to call you, without having an accountability partner, but you're doing what you need to do to get yourself set up for the week. And that is absolutely awesome. And I challenge everyone on this call, did you have your written list pulled up, your 10 names? Did you have your notes already done for your invitations? Maybe, maybe not. Obviously, I'm hopefully thinking that 100% of you are saying, yes, I'm all ready to go. But Mary, that is perfect. That is exactly what you need to be doing. So well done on that.
Thank you.
All right, so let's dive straight on in. I know a lot of people are hungry to get to the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about. So first of all, let me ask you a couple of questions. First of all, do you have a written list?
I do.
Correct. Secondly, have you pulled 10 names down from that written list?
I have.
Fantastic. All right. Well, let's just give me the first names. No last names for right now. Let's just look at the first names, so that some people on the call think, hold on, I know her, I know him, or whatever. So just give me the 10 names in a row. Don't say anything about them. Just the 10 names in a row from 1 through 10, please.
Okay. So I have Jeannie, James, Chris, Diane, Lisa,
Mm-hmm.
Gin, like what you drink, Gin.
Okay.
Charity, Cindy, Fred,
Yep.
and Bob.
Okay. Are they in any particular order?
A little bit. More so kind of how I figured I wanted to approach them, who I thought I'd do Monday, Tuesday. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's dive straight on in. Tell me a little bit about Jeannie.
So, Jeannie, I've known her for many years. I've seen her working in the telecom industry, just kind of she seems to lean towards the startup and jumps in new business. And so I see her as an active person, one who's good about building relationships, one who's not afraid of change. And so I just thought that she would be a good candidate to approach. I saw some things on Facebook where she was saying that she just got let go by her most recent company and was taking a little time before trying to find something else. And so when I thought about her, it's twofold. It's kind of the, are you interested in this for yourself? But I thought maybe a better approach would be to go in for her expertise, kind of an opinion type of invitation.
Well, there's no hard and fast rules as to how to do this, and you know Jeannie better than I do. You've known her for a long, long time. There's a couple of approaches that kind of screamed out to me. Mm-hmm. We don't need to go into too many specifics. So what's your gut feel? How do you feel you want to approach her?
I'm more leaning towards the opinion approach, because if she's not ready or not receptive right now, I think she will stop and take the time to support me and to give me guidance or give me an opinion if that's what I'm asking for. Mm-hmm. I also know that she's very astute, and if through that process, she sees that she's interested, she'll speak up. So I think the easier way in the door is to ask the opinion.
And that's the key word. Easier is the key word, because, again, at the end of the day, a win for us in the Purge Call, a win for us is that they take a look. If they join or not, that's in the lap of the gods. Now, some people may be a little bit more skillful at a presentation or dealing with concerns and objections. But at the end of the day, for the people we're looking in as one of our three, we want people who are praying for an opportunity like this, people who really see it. And at the end of the day, we just want to find a way that gets her to look at the business. I don't care, what that approach is. There are some different approaches and stuff. I see there being two approaches, but I think I lean more towards the one you like as well, for two reasons. Number one, because I think it's certainly good enough. But secondly, you know Jeannie better than I do. And so if you think that, then that's what I think is a good idea. But there's a couple of approaches. First of all, is the opinion approach, which is, again, let's go through the 5 rules. Number 1, being in a hurry. Number 2, their why or an opinion. Number 3, a hook. Number 4, being your cup of tea or not, which may or may not be relevant if we're asking for an opinion in this particular case, and then being intentional about setting up a time. So I would give Jeannie a call, say, Jeannie, listen, I've just about got going back to work, get into a meeting, but I've been meaning to give you a call this week because I want to get together for a coffee. As you know, I'm working hard in a job right now and looking after. Now, I don't know the aging parent, mum or dad?
Mom.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, I'm working hard, full time in my job, and obviously, working hard to take care of my mom. She needs a lot of my time. So I've started a new project that's going to allow me a lot more time and certainly a lot more finances to be able to do that. And I'd love you to take a look at it. I know I saw on Facebook that you've been, you may or may not want to mention about her being let go, but let's say for the moment you don't actually. I'd love to get together with coffee, because I'd love you to take a look at what I'm doing. I've always respected you, in the telecom industry. You're great with people. You're really good. You're very proactive, and I'd really appreciate your opinion to take a look. And certainly, that part of this business is networking. I know you may know some people that I may want to get together and meet with. So I think an opinion approach like that would be very good. And then again, during the actual presentation is where there may be a door open where you can say, well, I don't know, Jeannie, I don't know if this is something that you may want to have a look at for yourself. You'll kind of get a feel for that. As you said, when she looks, if she sees something, she'll jump. And be very respectful of someone if you're asking them for an opinion. Don't ambush them. If you're asking for an opinion, making an opinion. I'm just about to go into work, but I've been meaning to get together with you sometime as soon as possible, because, as you know, I'm working full-time in my current job. I've got, obviously, there's a lot of time being taken care of with my mum right now. So I've started a new project that's going to allow me a lot more time to take care of my mum, and certainly a lot more money. And I want to show you what I'm doing, because I'd really appreciate your opinion. And again, I know you're really well connected, and part of this is actually networking. You may be able to make some good introductions for me. Are you available on Friday after work, or maybe Friday lunchtime for a coffee? So that's the type of invite you could go. And as I say, that's the preferred one. The other one is a more of a direct approach, which I'm not saying you should do, but again, for those on the call who may have a similar situation but prefer a more direct approach, you may want to say something along the lines of, hey, Jeannie, listen, I'm just about to go into a meeting, but I've been meaning to give you a call because I saw on Facebook that recently you've been laid off from your current employment, and you do need to say that here, because again, remember, being in a hurry and then addressing a why, that can be her why or your why, and we're going to do both. So we're in a hurry, just about to go into a meeting, but I've been meaning to give you a call this week, Jeannie, because I saw on Facebook that recently you'd been laid off from work. Well, I've been meaning to get hold of you because, as you know, I'm working full time as well, and certainly no job is ever totally secure. And I've been so what I've done is I've been working on a project to give myself a plan B. And I think it could be something that could work for you. And while you're looking, let me just ask you the question. Are you open to look at different opportunities to what you could do next? I'm not sure if it'll be your cup of tea, but have a look at what we're doing. And I'm not sure what you're doing after work today, but I can show you what we're doing and see if it makes sense for you or not. So again, you could be really direct. With you currently in your current situation, you can either ask this. You could be like, this could be something that could really work for you, or you could say, are you open to look at different opportunities while you're looking for something to replace your income? So you can have a direct approach as well. So that one, again, just to summarize, because I went through it a few times. This is being recorded, by the way, for those who want to go back and work on this and write their invitation down again. So being in a hurry, address her why. You saw on Facebook that she'd recently been laid off. Address your why. You know I'm working full-time in my job, and no job is ever totally secure. And I've obviously got my mum to take care of, so I cannot be without a job. So I got myself a plan B. There's a hook, which is really, really working very well for me. There's a hook, a little bit of excitement. Now, I don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea, but I'd love you to take a look at what I'm doing. So there's a takeaway, number 4, but I'd love you to take a look at what I'm doing. What are you doing on Friday at lunchtime? Or what are you doing tomorrow after work? Okay, so nice. There are all the 5 things in there. You're being yourself. It's being natural. And again, you could have I think it'll work for you, or are you keeping your options open for different things? So that's a direct approach. I like your opinion approach, though, for you in this particular case. But for those on the call that have a similar situation, the direct approach works just as well. At the end of the day, we want them to take a look. So that's what I would do on that one. That's really good. Do you have any questions on that?
Nope.
Jeannie, does it make sense? Or
Yeah.
does it make sense for Jeannie? Yeah. Cool. All right, Mary. So let's move on to the next one.
The next person I had was James. He is the owner of the lawn care company I've had for some years now. And my thoughts there was just to do a direct approach to him, you know,
I agree.
being in a seasonal business. You know, he's worked hard. It seems like he has a few, I mean, I'm a loyal customer myself, and I think he really relies on us to kind of help get him through the winter, but I figured this would be a good opportunity to show him a little something different.
Okay, so how would you, bearing in mind the five things on the list, and I'm not throwing you under the bus here, but how do you think you may be able to invite him?
I would probably give him a call and, you know, hey, James, it's Mary. I don't really recall exactly how long I've been your customer, but I know that you've worked very hard to keep things afloat, having a seasonal business. I've started a part-time business of my own, and I would like to, when you have 10 or 15 minutes, I'd like to talk to you about it and maybe share some ideas on what you do to be a loyal, to build your customer base, or just see if you have an interest yourself in working in this business.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a good approach. A couple of things missing in your invite, which is why it's important to write them down. First of all, don't assume that being in a hurry, you don't need to talk about it on this call. We do need to talk about it on this call. So first of all, when you're calling James, say, hey, James, I'm just about to. So that was missing in your invite. So be in a hurry, please, lovely. So be in a hurry, right? And again, make sure you write being in a hurry, what you're going to say in your invite. Write it down. And again, everybody on this call, write it down because you'll forget. And if you're not in a hurry, at the end, when James says, so what is it? If you didn't say I was in a hurry, you're going to get dragged into a presentation during the time when you're supposed to be just inviting. So please, pretty emphatically, make sure you remember to be in a hurry. But I would say, hey James, listen, I'm just about to go in and pick my mom up for whatever it is, or work. But I've been meaning to give you a call because I've always been so impressed with the way you've taken care of us over the years. You run a really good business. I would put a compliment in there because you don't really know his why. Mm-hmm. He's, as you say, you think he needs you because, and you take care, you're his customer over the winter, and that's really awesome. And I love your loyalty in that. But you don't know his why, so throw in a compliment. Say, you've always done such a great job for us, and that's why we've been a loyal customer for the number of years that we have. But I've been meaning to give you a call because a thought crossed my mind. Your business probably is very, very seasonal. And there's something that I wanted to talk to you about. And you mentioned this. You did say you'd started a part-time business, but you didn't sound very excited about it. So be a little bit more excited about it and put a hook in there. You forgot the hook. So, and say, there's something I want to talk to you about. And I would then say about your why. I've got a full-time job. You have your full-time business. I have a full-time job. And I want to make sure I get some more time back. And I want to make sure that I've got a guarantee just in case, business, my job goes away, or in your case, it gets quiet in a seasonal business. So I started a Plan B business, a project that I'm really excited about and is working really, really well for me. And I think you should take a look at it because I think it'll work really, really well for you in the winter months when your business is a little quieter. What are you doing tomorrow after work? Okay. Now, one thing I did forget there was, by the way, is I'm not sure if it'll be your cup of tea. So I started a Plan B business that's going to make sure that I don't get thrown under the bus if I lose my job or whatever, which is working really, really well for me. I'm very excited about this business, and it could work very, very well for you in the quieter months when you're not so busy. I'm not sure if it'll be your cup of tea or not, and that's perfectly fine. James, no pressure at all. It's more importantly that we maintain our relationship as it is, to worry about anything else. But what are you doing after work? tomorrow? Or what are you doing at lunchtime tomorrow? The reason why I went through that in quite a lot of detail was every one of the 5 things are really important on that, Mary. Make sure you're in a hurry. Compliment him. Make him feel good about his business. You've been meaning to give him a call because, and then state your why. You started a plan B because, that no one's ever assured in their business. And I know in your business you have quiet months during the winter. And then here's the hook. So I started a business which to make sure that I have a plan B if anything happens in my business, which is working really well for me. Be excited. Have the hook in there. I'm not talking about Kool-Aid excited. I'm not talking about a situation where you're going all kind of freaky, but just like be enthusiastic about it. I'm enthusiastic about my business. It's working really well for me. Now, listen, James, I'm not sure if it's going to be your cup of tea or not, but what are you doing after work? I'd love you to take a look at what I'm doing. Okay? Does that make sense, Mary?
Absolutely. Yep.
You're scribbling notes while I'm talking to you.
No, I said yes. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fantastic. All right. Okay, Mary. So we got Chris on our list now. Let's talk about Chris.
Okay. Chris is he works in the oil industry, a lot of times out of the country, and so he's back and forth and looking at his retirement. And when the oil prices went down, we were talking about, he was saying he was concerned about whether his contract would last and all that kind of stuff and things that he needed to do in order to, continue to secure his retirement. So,
okay. Is he married?
No. Nope.
Kids? I'm assuming his kids are
yes.
probably grown up, right?
Grown kids, but it seems that he still supports them quite a bit. So.
Okay, cool. All right.
Important to him.
Okay, so based upon that, what kind of approach do you think you would like to take on that one? I won't throw you under the bus and make you do the invite, but what type of approach do you think you'd do on that one?
This one I drafted out a little bit better than the last one, so it wouldn't be under the bus.
Okay, let's do it. Come on, Mary, let's go. Let's do it.
So, just the introduction. Hi, Chris. How are you doing? I only have a few minutes before my next conference call, but I wanted to take a moment to share something with you. We've had more than a handful of conversations over the past year where we've talked about the strain it has been for me to support my mom in the recent challenges you've run up against preparing for your retirement. Well, I've been working on a project for almost 6 months now that is putting breathing room back in my budget and giving me more time to spend with Mom as her daughter, not her caretaker. Can we meet for lunch or after work so I can share more about how I'm earning extra money? I could really use your feedback, and perhaps this would be a good opportunity for you as well. What day is
okay.
Today or tomorrow?
Okay. All right. First 75% I couldn't fault.
I'm sorry, say that again?
The first 75% of that invite I couldn't fault. Obviously, you're reading it, so practice it, make it more real so you're not reading it when it comes to use it as reference, but not necessarily reading it. But the first 75% was perfect. The last part, we lacked a little bit of intentionality and confused him looking and also wanting an opinion a little bit. Mm-hmm. So what I mean by that was you said, can we meet at such and such? Lose the can we meet. You're putting the power in his hands.
Right.
So what I want to do is be a little bit more posture, a little bit more upbeat. What are you doing after work at such and such? I can get together on Thursday or Friday. I'm free after church on Sunday. So it's like you're going to meet with me. I'm just telling you when I'm available, not can we meet.
Okay.
Okay. And I also would, when you were saying, it didn't sound very positive at the end. The first part, honestly, was just brilliant, was just really, really good. But the second half would be, you said, you're concerned about, you want to be more of a daughter than a caretaker to your mum. Brilliant line. he's been talking about worrying for retirement as things come around the corner. And so you say, I've started something that's giving me more time freedom and more, I think, less stress on your budget. I can't remember what it was. Chris, I want you to take a look at what I'm doing. I think this could be something that could work for you. I don't know if it's your cup of tea, but I'm really excited about this. I think this could work for you. So it's a little bit more postured in the positive rather than it just felt like it was a little bit kind of loosey-goosey. So first 75% was really good. So I would say, hey, Chris, don't change the story. I'm just going to give you a version, but keep your story at the beginning because it's certainly very, very good and very personal. Hey, Chris, listen, I'm just about to get on a conference call. I've only got a few minutes. That was a great being in a hurry. But I've been meaning to give you a call because we've spoken at length about, me wanting to be around more for my mum and you looking towards retirement. And obviously because of that, I have started a plan B. I've got a project that I'm working on right now for the last 6 months that is really working well for me. It's taken a lot of the strain off my budget. It's given me a lot more time so I can be with my mum, and I think it could address your retirement concerns. What are you doing on Friday at lunchtime? So you can kind of shorten the whole thing. I think this could really address your retirement concerns. What are you doing on Monday after work? I'd love to show you what I'm doing. Again, that excitement in that. I'd love to show you what I'm doing. Listen, Chris, I'm not sure if it's going to be your cup of tea, and that's fine. My friendship with you is more important than taking a look at this project. But I wouldn't be a friend of yours if I didn't show you what I was doing if I'm being successful at it. That's kind of a nice line, too. Yep. So what are you doing after work tomorrow? What are you doing at lunchtime tomorrow, at such and such? So be really, really intentional about the invite. As I say, so you started really good, and it got a little loosey-goosey towards the end. So tighten up the end with posture about this is something you're really excited about, something that could solve his retirement issue. It may or may not be your cup of tea. Completely understand that, but it's really working well for me. And what sort of a friend would I be if I have something and I don't show you what it is? Again, if it's not your cup of tea, Chris, it's not. That's fine. But what are you doing at this time? What are you doing here? A lot more positive in the close of the invitation. Does that make sense, Mary?
Yes, it does.
Fantastic. Okay, good deal. All right. We're at 8:48. So we got time for one more invite before I'm going to close the call out. We'll do other invites during the week. We'll do a couple of invites a day. So for those of you who want to see how we construct the other invites on Mary's list, listen in to the accountability calls that will be recorded on this Facebook page I was talking about earlier on. But let's talk about someone else right now. I've got Diane here on my list here. Is that going to work for you, Mary?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Diane runs a senior program that my mom used to be involved in, and I've watched her do a few little entrepreneurial things, different things to help raise money for their group. And I also know she has, a son who's gone off to college and could probably, use some more money. So I was thinking more of a direct approach. And what I had here is, hi, Dan, it's Mary, Miss Brenda's daughter. How are you? And then I figured she'd ask how mom was doing, and I'd say, although a lot has changed in her life, she is definitely thriving now that she is in a safe environment and getting the medical assistance she needs. In order to ensure she gets that care, the care she needs, I've been building a part-time business to offset our additional expenses. When I was thinking about who I know with an entrepreneurial spirit and the heart to help others, you came to mind. I'm about to meet with one of my mentors, but I thought I would take just the moment I had to set an appointment with you. It'll only take 15 or 20 minutes to share some information on what I'm doing. What day works better for you, tomorrow or Friday, or whatever. It depends on when I call
it. Yeah, that's good. That's very good. good. You're in a hurry. You talked about your why, offsetting expenses. You complimented her when you talked about, who did you think of? I would be I don't know. Just there was a slight feeling when we talk about when I was thinking about people who I would bring into this business. I don't know. That felt a little awkward to me because it looks like you're looking for lots of people to look into the business, and I would keep it still more personal, more to her. So instead of saying when I was thinking about people who I could, whatever you said, bring into the business or whatever. First of all, it reeks of recruitment, and we do recruit, but we want people to look. We don't want to put a reason why they don't want to look. So that might raise a little bit of a red flag. So I might slightly change that wording. The rest of the stuff's really good. So, hey Diane, this is Mary, Miss Brenda's daughter, and again, you're right. She probably will ask how your mum is. So again, be ready for that. And you can say, yeah, she's doing great, but I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now. But I've been meaning to give you a call. Because in order to make sure, Mum's senior program or her care is obviously costing more money right now, and I wanted to make sure I had extra income, so I started a new project that I've been running now for 6 months, which is working really, really well for me. And Diane, to be quite honest, I'd like you to take a look at it because I think it would be something that may be of interest to you. I don't know if it's your cup of tea, but I think it may be of interest to you. And if not, you certainly know enough people where you could give me some introductions because I'm going to need to meet some more people as well. What are you doing after? What are you doing after work at such and such? Again, I still may have put in the takeaway in there. So, Diana, I mean to give you a call so you can take a look because I think this is something that will work for you. Maybe help with your son's college funds. Maybe great if you could come out of college without any debt. Again, I'm not sure if it's your cup of tea, Diane, but I'd love you to take a look at what I'm doing. I've always been very impressed with what you do with my mom, and this could be something that would work for you. Again, could be something that would work for you. So you've given her a doorway out, then intentional, bang. What are you doing after work tomorrow? What are you doing at lunchtime? So you're going for the kill. That's where you go for the kill. It's all nice and gentle. It's complimentary. It's talking about your mom. You're excited about this new project you're doing. It may or may not be your cup of tea, but bang, you're going for the kill. You're closing the deal when it comes to setting the time for her to see the business. Make sense?
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think you can trim down your invites a little bit. Mm-hmm. And again, listen back to this call so that you can get some of the wording in there that's kind of important. Remember that you're addressing all the 5 things in there. Be excited about your business. I've started a new project that's really working out for me really well. And Diane, to be quite honest, I think it'd be really good. It would be something that could really work for you as well, especially if you want to make sure you can help your son with his college, with any college debt. And listen, it may or may not be your cup of tea, but I'd love you to take a look. What time is Monday better for you, or is Tuesday? Again, being really intentional and closing the time down. So does that make sense on that one?
Yes, it does.
Cool. So listen back to the call and get your invitations written down. I'm going to just talk about one more thing with you, Mary, before I let you go, is make sure that you open your calendar, make sure that you have the time set aside to make these calls that we've prepared the invitations for. Certainly make sure you do that. Again, everybody in the call, please make sure you all do all this. And secondly, do exactly what Mary has done and make sure your invitation is written down. Make sure that you address all the 5 points. Please be in a hurry. You will hate it if someone says to you, what is it? And you haven't given yourself a way out. So please make sure you do that. Follow the other 4 things in there. Again, posture, be excited. Again, not Kool-Aid excited, but just really positive about this. Give them the way out and be really intentional closing the time down. But Mary, one thing I just want to kind of talk to you about, because we're not going to get a chance to talk before you've done a couple of these invites. have the invite. I'm going to say it again. I talked about this already. Have the invite there in front of you for reference, but please make sure you are saying it without it sounding like a script. Okay, so even if you have to read it, write it conversationally. Not write it like you're writing an essay or something. Write it as you would say it. I know you, Mary. You know, you and I, we have a laugh and a joke. I know who you are, and if you read it in a certain way, I think, hold on, Mary's reading this. So write it down as you would say it, because I know you're very upbeat. You know, we always have such a laugh and there's something. And if you go too serious and too monotone because you're reading it, then they will sense that. So just be aware of that, lovely, when you're doing your invites. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
All right. Well, just before I let you go, do you have any questions at all?
I don't. Yep.
You are awesome.
I'm ready to go.
Well, I'm so pleased that you were so well prepared for this call, even though you didn't know I was going to ask you to be a victim on it. You are truly an example to everyone on this call. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. So once we're done on this call, Mary, if you can just text me some times that would suit you best for the accountability call, just give me 2 or 3 so I can fit that into my calendar. So I've got my week prepared as well. If you wouldn't mind doing that, is that okay?
That's fine.
All right. Okay, Mary. Well, thank you so much for getting on the call tonight. And I will be speaking to you tomorrow night. So you're going to call me tomorrow night. I don't call you. You call me, okay?
Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mary. And I'll speak to you tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So let's close the call out because we want to get on to the national call with Brian McClure. A couple of things I just wanted to talk about really quickly is on Wednesday this week. Don't go, by the way, guys. Don't go. Okay. EC Riders team call is this Wednesday. The details will be on the Facebook page. I'm not sure what we're going to cover on that call yet, but it will be very much like this call, very functional in some training subjects. In fact, if any of you have got any questions that you wanted to have answered specifically to this call, why not text it through to Michelle. Michelle, text me your number real quick, will you? Then we can maybe include that on the call on Wednesday evening, and you can come in and listen in on that call. And then secondly, I hope everyone is getting themselves registered for the Power Workshop, the AMBIT Power Workshop this October. It was mentioned just before the call got started that the early bird pricing is being extended to midnight tonight. At the October 1st training, my portion of that training is one of the longer training sessions, and I talk about this call specifically, and I talk about things that I haven't got time to talk about on this particular call. Things like how to score your written list properly, how to prepare your written list, because we're talking about the top 10 names, and we're making sure that the invite's right and this type of thing. But what about making sure you've got a good, strong written list and it's constantly being added to, and how do you score the best way possible using the ERICA system? And I covered that at the AMBIT Power Workshop training on October the 1st. We do have a number of other leaders who are training as well. Awesome training there. If you are brand new, you must be at that training. It's a DFW training, so for those of you who are within 4 to 6 hours of DFW, make sure you get to that particular training. Very, 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 very valuable. And again, if you like this Sunday Purge call, you need to be at that training because I cover everything you need to know about that particular about this particular call. Michelle has just texted me her number. Hold on a second. So if you have any subjects, is it the second or the first number, Michelle? I'm assuming the second one.
It's the second.
Okay, thank you. If you've got a particular subject you want us to cover on the EC Riders call this Wednesday, I'm going to be on the call. Text Michelle on 682-521-4570. 682-521-4570. Text Michelle what you'd like me to talk about on Wednesday. Okay, national call just about to come up. The telephone number for the national call is 712-432-6756. 7570. Again, 712-432-7570. And the PIN to get on there is 84877 pound. Again, 84877 pound. Guys, thank you so much for getting on the call tonight. Thank you again, Mary. I will see you all and listen into the accountability calls during the week, and I'll see you all on this call next Sunday. Good night, everybody. Have a great rest of the Sunday night. Bye-bye now.